Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. I'm sorry she treated you so horribly, OP. Your boss is an ignorant, overbearing fool. I hope you find a much better job where you'll be treated with respect. Also, it's always satisfying to dump off work clothes at a job you just quit. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Karen boss desperately needed my uniform back the next day. No excuses. Okay, so a little backstory first. I'm a 20-year-old college student full-time and doing 23-plus hours a week on top of classes to make ends meet. I live paycheck to paycheck and have a car was paying off. I used to work at a McDonald's in my hometown, but since I moved to live on campus, which was 45 minutes away from my old job, and I wasn't willing to make the commute, so I decided to apply, and got accepted, to a small sandwich shop 10 minutes from my college, which was a blessing. It started out great, plenty of hours, easy work, fast days, till the old manager decided to switch stores. The new manager was one of the biggest Karens you've ever met. Like, bad, and when I say bad, I really mean it. She completely changed the procedures and made things so much worse. And when I'd have to stay over sometimes 2 to 3 hours after closing, she'd burst in the next day yelling, screaming at the top of her lungs, "Stop staying later! You have to be out by 8:30. We won't pay you for any time past then." I had no choice because the list she gave me to do to close the store alone every night, may I add, was extremely time-consuming, especially with no help. I was expected to stop serving at 8 and do 5 people's worth of work in 30 minutes. It simply wasn't doable. Hearing I wasn't going to be paid for time I worked, time I spent making sure everything was done on the list before I left, otherwise I'd be fired for not doing all of it, would go unpaid, as well as I'd be fired if I stayed longer than 8:30. There was no winning. On top of that, the moment management switched, they decided they were giving people too many hours and cut me to only 3 hours a week. That went on for 4 weeks till I decided enough was enough. $45 work weeks wasn't even worth putting in the time and effort to even show up. So on one of my weekends, I was with my parents off campus. I was due to work that day, 3 hours of course, my day only that week. I was shopping near said sandwich shop. It's located inside a Walmart. My mom and I were discussing for last week how should just quiet since it seems they're trying to fire me without saying they're firing me, wanting me to leave on my own so they wouldn't need to fill out paperwork. Right then and there, I decided, know what, F this job and F my entitled Karen boss. I sent her a text that I quiet on the spot and not to expect me to come in that night for my shift. She texted me back ranting about how since I'm not giving her a 2-week notice, I'll never be able to work at one of those sandwich shops again. At that point, I didn't care. I already had to give up my brand new car of only 4 months because I couldn't pay my loan and insurance. It was a nice car, to a white shimmery 2016 Hyundai. I love that thing. I told her at some point that week I'd try to get the brand new uniform that, funny enough, they had just gave me the week prior, a whole 3.5 months after I started working there. But I warned her my classes run till right before closing. I didn't know when I'd be able to do so. She texts back in what I could only imagine the snarkiest tone possible. No, I really need that uniform back tomorrow. I told her I'm sorry, but that may not be possible due to my school schedule, and I'm not willing to ditch a class to drop off a few pieces of clothing. She said, no, you will bring it back tomorrow. Don't even try to lie to me. You were seen in store the day you quit. No excuses. Okay then, she said no excuses. I didn't want to go into an argument with her over it, and knowing she herself would be closing that day and my classes ended at 8 exactly, I happily complied. I made sure I'd arrive right as she was closing the lock on the gate. I was bringing the clothes in my reusable shopping bag. I had no throwaway bags, and since she can't take and claim my bag as her own, I was just going to give her the clothes one piece at a time, knowing she'd have to carry them out of the store. Juggling them back home made me happy. When it came time to deliver my uniform to her, all the stars seemed to align perfectly. I arrived at 8:30, caught her on the way out with the outfit not even in a reusable bag to begin with. As an extra touch of sweet, unplanned irony, it was raining outside. Hard rain. The sidewalks, I guess, were extra slippery and muddy, because on my way in, I slipped and landed chest first into the mud, and was mostly spared, though, because the clothes there to break my fall and absorb most of the filth. Dropping off the muddy, loose clothes, seeing her reaction, watching her stomp her feet, wrench in disgust, holding the clothes 10 feet away from her body, huff and puff, marching out of the store in pure shock and disbelief, she didn't even have words for me. It was the sweetest revenge I'd ever seen. This did mean I had to buy a whole new set of clothes and change in the Walmart bathroom, but it was all worth it to see her reaction in the end. After I'd returned to my dorm that evening, I sent her a text saying simply, "Enjoy," and I blocked her number. Safe to say, karma really did pay out on my end. And our second story. Crazy lady gave me my money back in an interesting way. Just for context, this story happens in Romania. Our currency is Romanian leu. It's about 0.20 euros. Prices in Romania are pretty low. A bread, for example, costs 1 or 2 leu. So me and two friends just finished hanging out at a bar/restaurant. We're in college, so we're really strapped for cash. After paying for the drinks, we had a combined 40 lei left. My friends both had 10 and I had 20. Since we all live pretty far away and it was late, we decided to share an Uber, which would cost us about 30. Awesome. We decide we'll all pitch in 10 leu. Ordered an Uber and started waiting for it. This is when Crazy Lady, CL, approaches us. It's a woman about 45 to 50 years old wearing dirty clothes and had a sign that loosely translated to, "Please help me, my son is sick and I have to pay for medical bills." She asks us if we have some money to spare. At this point, this seems perfectly normal, just a beggar asking for cash. I still have 10 lei left, which I wouldn't spend that night, so I thought, what the heck, might as well help her. Maybe her story is actually true. I get out my wallet and hand her the 10 lei note. She takes it and looks shocked, like I just insulted her family. This is the conversation that ensues. CL, what the F is this? Me, what do you mean? CL, are you seriously only going to give me 10 lei? I can see you have more. Just FYI, usually people give between 1 and 5 to beggars. 10's actually quite generous. Me, that's literally all the money I have left. CL, no, you're lying. I saw you had 10 more, and points at my wallet. Then to my friends, what about you, C-words? Are you really not going to help at all? My son is dying. My friend, listen, lady, we don't have any money left. My name already gave you all he had left. He was kind, and you're being an entitled piece of crap. You're lucky I don't take that note and shove it so far up your butt you crap money all week. Leave us the F alone. Admittedly, that was kind of rude, but under the circumstances, I think it wasn't at all out of place. This is where things get spicy. CL punches my friend hard. He has braces and his whole upper lip and half of his lower lip were pierced by them from the punch. He started bleeding bad. After this, she has the absolute nerves to scream that she will call the police. What's the reason, you may ask? That we were effing mean to her. Yes, I know. Not only that, this happened in one of the most crowded places in Bucharest, Old Town. The street was literally packed with people who saw the entire encounter. A witness did call the police, but not for the reason CL thought. When the cops came, she tried to spin the story to make it look like we were the villains, but obviously a ton of people who were present backed us up. A policeman, who's a literal god, made her give me back my 10 lei and then arrested her for assault and disturbing the peace. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he made her give me back the money. It's not like I was dying to have it back after the whole incident, but the look on that jerk's face made my day. That's pretty much all. My friend had to get some stitches, but it's now fine. He obviously decided to press charges, and the CB's facing 2 months in jail. And our last story. Take all my stuff and move out? This happened 7 years, a month after my dad died. My mom and I got a message from her sister, Linda, saying she wants the house her and mom got together. Before this, they had a cordial relationship, and my mom had spent quite a bit to make the house better. She also bought all the furniture for it. My dad was in and out of hospitals, and our finance was not well. Dad's insurance kept trying to bilk on the payments. We had to borrow money and even sell some of our things to get by. The house was used by Linda's youngest daughter, and she apparently got someone to either rent it out or buy it, so she told my mom to take her crap and get out. My mom was not the type to rock the boat, and broke as we were, we managed to get a moving truck some helpers. Now, my dad taught me to keep records and receipts, so I still have the receipts for the items my mom bought and out in the house. Linda and her ilk looked smug and tried to make a spectacle of us packing up. Then she started getting angry when everything was getting packed. The fridge, TV, sink, cabinets, plates, picture frames, beds, mattresses, and everything else went in the truck. Every time Linda protested, I'd show her the receipt, and she had to let us go. Halfway through, she just gave up and sulked away. When we were done, the house was bare. I wanted to take the tiles off, but Mom wasn't going to be that petty. The house was left bare and unused until Linda gave it to my mom for pennies. This wasn't the first nor last time Linda's greed made her burn bridges. She once quit her job and borrowed over $100,000 because she thought she had a buyer for her land. She expected to get millions, but got nowhere near that price. She now lives in a hut and can't get a good job because of many bridges she burned. Edit. The ones who wanted to rent/buy it expected it to be furnished. Linda, or as I like to call her, Sally Bridge Burner, is the type to count her chicken before they hatch. She didn't expect my mom or I to take everything that was ours. The only thing left after we were done was an old cabinet and their clothes. What I mean by sold for pennies was because the house was in the boonies. It was fully furnished and looked nice. So once that was gone, no one was interested in an overpriced bare-bones house. Linda couldn't rent it out because she was charging 3 to 4 times more than she should, and when she tried to sell it, she wanted way more than what people will pay for it. Also, I'm from the Philippines. 100% should have taken the tiles too. Imagine their faces when everything's gone and they think it's over. Then boom, a construction worker turns up and proceeds to remove the tiles, to which you again produce a receipt. Priceless. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.